I'm John Berry.
And I'm Viv Berry.
And I'm Artistic Director at Printers Playhouse.
And I'm the Artistic Director of the Community Arts Programme at Printers Playhouse. I think the audition process is really important for everybody because it marks the start of your process. When you offer it as a workshop first, you will get more people in the room who will say, oh, well, I'll just come along and do the workshop and see how I feel. And if I don't like it, then at least I've done it. And also, for me, it's important that if we don't cast them or they decide not to do it, they've still had a good experience. They've still come and spent a couple of hours with us, done some fun work, maybe learnt something, shared something. So that in itself is a valuable experience.
It's a story to tell as well. They'll go away, they'll tell friends, they might come and see the play, so it's an audience member, and if their friends come too, then it's more bums on seats. We, as part of a community theatre venture, we do heavily rely on audiences. So creating a show that has a bit of hustle and bustle, or a bit of gossip surrounding it, or if we become the talk of the town, it really helps us. Auditions that make people feel small or insecure or haven't been given the sort of opportunity for their voice to be heard, it's only cutting off our nose to spite our face, and we rely on this community. We really wouldn't be here without them, so it makes total sense to give them experience that hopefully they'll remember forever, really, because actually people gave so much in the workshop auditions. Once they let themselves react to the music we had playing or to the exercise we were doing, we saw some incredible performances.
Or if thou canst not. Oh, shame, shame. Lie not to say mine eyes are murderers.
Yeah, it was good. I thought I completely fluffed up on the first one. But Viv and John are so good with their direction, and so I did it again, and it was just nice and, yeah, much better.
The audition was interesting. It was quite intense because I really tried to give it all that I had, and I got quite emotional, but I think probably a little bit, I threw myself in a bit too much, where I was hysterically crying and feeling all sorts of emotions. Maybe I came across a little bit too much, I don't know, but I tried my best, and that's all you can do, really, isn't it?
I've seen roses, damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes. I'm so sorry.
That's good. That's good. It's really watchable.
Put out the light, just put out the light. If I quench thee, thou flaming minister, I can thy light restore.
We want to see the breakdown. We want to see the difficulty and the struggle.
So is it not with me as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, that heaven itself for ornament doth use?
And this is a process that you're learning, and it's building. It builds every time. That was better than the first time we did it.
Can this be true? Stand I contemned for scorn and pride so much?
Yeah, I did a scene from Lord of the Rings as my audition piece, and then got asked to repeat that bit, but in a different character in a different way.
So you can't beat yourself up about that. It's the process. It's the artistic process.
There's a fearful point. Shall I lie? Stifled in the vault, to whose foul mouth no wholesome air breathes in, and die there strangled? Here my Romeo comes.
John.
And Rita.
Finn.
Hannah.
Bernice.
Bea.
Jen.
Maya.
Peter.
Stevie.
Levi.
Nicole.
Viv. But basically, iambic pentameter is the rhythm that verse is written in, and a lot of Shakespeare characters are written in it, and it's 10 beats to a bar. Di-dum, 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 di-dum.
I got an email through very early on a school day. I was already pretty late for school by this point, and like the rush of finding out that I got Romeo was just, it delayed me even further. I ended up being late to my lesson, but it was such a rush. I loved it. It was the most amazing feeling.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Eastbourne, where we lay our seed. From hate and grudge break to mutiny, where civil bloods make civil hands unclean.
I found out through Messenger. I saw it, I was looking all day, I was really sort of in hope. But I was actually by myself in my house. So I sort of had a little moment to myself, very excited, and I messaged my mum. And when she got back to me, she was really excited as well, so I'm really pleased. It's going to be really exciting.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
It's been lovely meeting you, by the way.
It's been good.
The quality of mercy is not strained. Boom. I would really recommend that with every single line you do, you learn the de-dun, 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 right? What we do not want is a performance full of people talking like this, right?
I auditioned for Benvolio, so I was expecting Benvolio or a smaller part, but getting Romeo was just like, what, you know?
Yes, Shakespeare is tricky. You have to know what you are saying. It's crucial you know exactly what you are saying. However, that's not enough. You've also got to say it in a way that makes an audience love what you're saying, fall in love, understand the emotion of what you're going through whilst saying it.
I was open to whatever they cast. I had
Yeah, me too.
an open mind, whatever it was going to be.
Full stops?
Very few.
There's not very many of them in there. Yeah? And that is really important because there is nothing worse than watching Shakespeare that gives itself full stops. There aren't any in there, and that is the reason. And when they are in there, like in the prologue, dun-dun.
I think being cast in a male role is quite good for me because I'm non-binary. I don't really identify as anything. So I was really easy either way on the gender of the casting, but I'm really happy that I got Romeo. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm terrified, obviously, but like, we're going to see how it goes.
We're going to get through it.
And that's the wonder of this, that's the study of this, finding even half of the layers that Shakespeare wanted us to. You know, if we're getting close, we'll be doing a wonderful thing.
So we're playing this way and we're playing to both sides. So just kind of technique-wise, obviously if you're in a corner here, this is boom, everyone can see you. And the same when you play the other end. We're not too worried about backs to audiences for short periods of time.
I haven't done any Shakespeare before. In fact, I hated Shakespeare at school, and this is the first time I've come across him again in about 42 years.
So you don't have to be like, oh God, what do I do? I've got to... You don't need to do any of that.
I'm really looking forward to play the part. It's only a tiny part, but I'm more than happy with that. I'm just so pleased to be part of this whole production.
Number one, they'll be picking up something from my back anyway, but number two, they'll be picking up what this side of the audience is giving them anyway. And as if I've done a whole load here, and then I can then do a whole load here, yeah? So that's quite exciting as an actor to play with, but it can also feel a bit like, oh.
I'm worried about learning my lines, but, you know, hopefully by the time we get there, I should be word perfect.
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die. The sweetest honey in its own...
I've done a fair bit of acting on the amateur stage only, and I've been involved in a few Shakespeares. I played Oberon in Midsummer Night's Dream a few years back now, and a few bit parts here and there.
It's very new for me because I've never done anything. The most I've done is in secondary school, where I was in a production of School of Rock. So this is like my first proper, you know, acting thing, and it's Shakespeare, so that's, you know, something else as well. But yeah, it's really fun.
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die. The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in its taste confounds the appetite. That's still not right.
My only love sprung from my only hate.
too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious. What do you say? Prodigious.
Oh, I'm loving it. It's a really great environment actually, especially as someone who hasn't done Shakespeare before. It's quite a nice introduction. Everything's being explained quite well, especially as someone who, again, doesn't know a lot about it.
That's poor Romeo. He's already dead. Stabbed with a white wench's black eye. Shot through the ear with a... Sorry, I'm...
You know what you're doing, Hannah, as well? Because everything...
Obviously, when you're first given the script, it's quite daunting. But then, as a hip-hop and drum and bass fan, I was just like, so I thought, okay, after the first initial panic, because you're being Old English, being dyslexic as well, and like learning these lines, I'm like, actually, it's all in, because it's in the pentameter format, it's literally like lyrical verses. So I just thought, like, so, you know, an old, dyslexic learning trick is just break down the sentences into 3 parts.
The sweetest honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and the taste confounds the appetite. What's the appetite?
Oh, sorry, right. We talk here in public, we talk here in public haunt of men.
Therefore, love moderately, long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy as too slow.
I've got most of my lines down, I think. So I'm just looking forward now to getting some direction when... I think it's easy maybe to learn your lines, but then the interaction with the next person is the next part of the process, and I think we're probably going to get into more of that now.
And we like a challenge, so we just thought, why not? Eastbourne is a fascinating town. You know, living here now 8 years, it sort of dawned on me how divided a town can be. And yet everyone still sort of gets on. Everyone rubs shoulders with each other on a Saturday night in the nightclubs. And that's really what Romeo and Juliet is about, a divide across, you know, Verona in that play, and that these 2 warring families collide day in, day out. They can't avoid each other. And that happens in Eastbourne. There is a very affluent side and there's a less financially well-off side. And what we wanted to do is set the play in a sort of modern contemporary context, be able to ask our cast to really bring something from them and their lives and the people around in their tribes. And
so there was a huge crossover between Brixton, all of that, Brixton, Peckham, that estate to that estate. If you're on that estate across the road and you're on this one, like that's reason enough to get stabbed. And this is
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But this is the reality.
In amongst all this kind of division that we have, not only within Eastbourne but kind of nationally, to be pulling a group of people together that wouldn't otherwise be working together and learning from each other's experiences. And the cast are fantastic already. They're being very open in sharing their life experiences and what the play means to them.
And for us to really listen to them and be led by them in order for us to make this the most sort of genuine and honest portrayal of a Shakespeare that we can do within our community. Should we be doing it? Absolutely. It doesn't seem a more potent play out there right now to be doing.
Okay, when the lights come back on, can you all get ready for the top of the show?
Wait for the lights to come on, don't leave yourselves there. Entire cast.
So we've just run through up until our first interval, trying all to be off script. Everyone's done really well so far. It was a little bit tricky, definitely, you know, you're not focusing on the acting, you're focusing on remembering what's next, when your cue is, sort of thing. But I think it's going okay so far, everyone's doing really well. But I definitely could improve on my line learning, but it will come in time, I'm sure.
You have the situation where, certainly with Shakespeare, the script is like a puzzle. So you spend a lot of time on your own figuring out what you're saying, figuring out the sense of everything. And that obviously takes a script, and that takes time in the rehearsal room when you block the scenes so you can jot those down and sort of forget about them and then react impulsively to what's going on in the scenes to be able to really listen to your scene partners. but it's all clunky and it doesn't quite fit right in a kind of harmonious way. And then you see people, suddenly all the other pressures come in. Oh God, I'm nervous. Oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And that's where it's sink or swim moment.
So after Saturday's rehearsal, I did lose my confidence a bit. It was a full run through and it was all going so fast and everybody was so quick with their lines and I was still needing a lot more time to put mine together. So I went home feeling a bit deflated, to be honest. And it did shake me a little bit. I mean, not like to the point of wanting to jack it all in and give it all up, but that thing of like, am I really able to do this? What have I got myself into? There's a lot to learn. Have I taken on a bit too much? But I just spent a bit more time working on it and came back in today with renewed effort and the progress is back. And I guess that's the way it's going to go with any learning curve, that you go a little bit up and then you take a couple of steps back, but then you make the progress again. And the reassurance from John, it's never going to be exactly perfect, it's never going to be exactly right, but it will be good. There's some people here who are really good, you know, professional level good.
Oh God, I'm so vexed that every part about me quivers. Scurvy knave! Pray yourself, a word.
And am I going to make a fool of myself if I put myself up against them? I'm the kind of person, if I do something, I want to do it well. But again, that's that little self-saboteur creeping in, and you've got to keep a check on that and tell yourself you keep doing the work and you will be all right.
An awful lot of people will hang on to their script even when they know their lines because it's their security blanket. And oh, well, if I mess up, I can just look down. And you see it, and then you say, put your script down. Oh, I can't put it down, I can't. And you know they can.
I'm rigid because I'm like this.
You're trying to hold a script.
There's my comfort blanket. Like
and you're reading the scene. You don't need to read the scene. You watch the scene. You watch and breathe and live the scene and respond that way.
Suddenly you put the script down and eye contact comes into play and people start realising that they're not just listening to voices, they're listening to bodies, and they get an atmosphere of the scene, an atmosphere of the room, and the play jumps.
Spanish blades of healths 5 fathoms deep. And then anon, drums in his ear, of which he starts and wakes, and being thus frightened, swears a prayer or two and then sleeps again.
I do have quite a few things going on outside of college. Obviously, I'm at college every day of the week. Thankfully, the Tuesday rehearsals don't interrupt any of my lessons. But it's a bit tricky to get it to fit around everything, but we are managing. I'm managing anyway. I'm not sure about the rest of the cast. But I'm in the middle of moving house at the minute. And so where I used to live, my old house, is an hour away from here. So it took quite a long time to get here, but thankfully now I'm only a train journey away, which is so much nicer.
So I think it was a good rehearsal. And the energy in the room is great, but it's always really tricky to start getting all those different layers when you're missing so many people from rehearsals. But we just have to keep, that's the nature of a community show. If we only ever did it when everyone was available, it would take us 10 months to put the show on.
Sir, go you in. Madam, go with him. Go Sir Paris. Everyone prepare to follow this fair corpse unto her grave. The heavens do lower upon you for some ill. Move them no more by crossing their high will.
I associated quite a lot with my hair, and because I always tried to present feminine to, I don't know, make other people happy, I suppose. Doing that was a big step in not only affirming that side of myself and presenting more non-binary, but also helping me to get into Romeo a lot more and feel as he felt, I think. I don't think Romeo, as much as he would look gorgeous with hair down to here, I don't think that would be entirely appropriate. But yeah, I'm loving the new hair, it's great. It's a lot easier to manage, that's for sure and certain.
So after we gate crashed the party,
yes,
which kind of got, it was like a last minute decision, wasn't it? After we intercepted the party list, the guest list.
On in there. Gate crashed. Yeah, we brought Romeo along.
And we're having a great time. And then
Romeo,
boy meets girl,
has to fall in love.
Yep.
What lady's that doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night.
Day after?
They get married the next day.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's fast
Okay.
work.
Romeo and I are quite similar, but there are definitely areas in which we differ quite a lot. And there are like some decisions that he makes are ones that off stage I'm like begging him not to do. I'm like, Romeo, no, don't do that. It's too fast, too quick, too rash.
Tybalt is actually a very different character to me. I am very mild-mannered and Tybalt is very much not. But I think the frustration at maybe not quite feeling like you're fitting in or not really knowing your place.
And Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk? What wouldst thou have with me?
Oh, good king of cats! Nothing more than one of your 9 lives! Oh.
He is very angry. He's a very angry character, I think. But the fact that he tries to tamp it down quite a lot, because even though I very rarely get angry, when I do, I tamp it down. So I think that shared quality, especially in the party scene, where he has to back off, I think that scene is really where I was like, oh, okay, I know what this is like.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet get married, and then it all kicks off.
You bite your vomiter, sir!
Now when you land on the...
Gregory, remember thy swashing blow.
Yes. Now at that point...
Hearts falls.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Take your time, Ben. It's all right. Don't you worry.
Let's do it all together.
Because since it's all like choreographed and you know what's going to happen, when you're in the moment, I just think it feels very real.
Draw, if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow!
Fools! Put up your swords, you know not what you do.
As I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee, have at thee.
Coward!
So yeah, I think costumes is very important because when you're starting to rehearse with your costume, you're putting together the actual physical appearance of the character you've been trying to portray with your dialogue in all the rehearsals up to this point. And it's at that point that you actually start to feel like carry yourself and have the appearance of that character.
For me, it was more about making sure that the audience knew the difference between the Montagues and the Capulets.
And each family carries their own colours. Capulets are modern money, so they tend to be on the more garish, bright side of things, whereas the Montagues are more traditional. So we're going kind of more on the grungy, darker side of the colours scheme for Montagues.
Yep, I trawl charity shops or jumble sales. I quite often get given things by people that are having clear outs of their own wardrobes. I spend an awful lot of time in places like B&Q and stuff like that, just wandering around plumbing departments, seeing what fixings might make interesting things. So it's just piecing together. But generally speaking, I don't make a list of what I want and then go looking for it. I go looking, I find stuff, I adapt it, which is why we're able to put together costumes so cheaply in this way, yeah.
For you, John, the nurse thing, right, I know you said you hadn't got an opinion on it, so this is what the nurse had got, because she'd originally said to me a bit mumsy, bit blousy, bit blah blah. She got this with a pair of gold loafer shoes, but she's now said to me she felt that was not Capulet enough. But I was kind of like, but if you're working for the Capulets, you're not likely to be one, are you?
No.
You're going to be coming from the working classes.
I said that to her as well.
Hark you, sir.
What sayest thou, my dear nurse?
My lady is the sweetest lady, Lord. There is a nobleman in town, one Paris that would fain lay knife aboard. But she, sweet soul, would as leave see a toad, a very toad, to see him. I anger her sometimes and tell her he is the proper a gentleman, but I warrant when I say so, she turns as pale as any clout in the versal world.
Commend me to thy lady.
I will do so.
But there are definitely elements of him that I, like if I just go about my daily life, I'm thinking, oh wait, Romeo would do that. Or if I'm going through the script and Romeo's lines, I'm like, oh wait, no, that's definitely something that I would do. And it's really interesting seeing how our lives are like bleeding into each other as the show process goes on.
I think she's actually more intelligent than Romeo. She's the more mature one. But she does fall in love very quickly, which I think is her downfall, because that's what makes her make all these silly decisions and obviously leads to her death.
It is too rash, too sudden, too unadvised.
I think I'd make better decisions, not rush into things. I definitely rationalise everything and look at it from an outside view rather than, you know, being so caught up in my head and going, this is the only one for me.
Because everything I've said so far makes you think that I'm talking about Romeo.
Romeo, yeah, and because you're not listening.
Yeah.
She says Romeo about 8 times.
Romeo, there's blood everywhere, Romeo, blood everywhere, he's dead, oh, Romeo!
She says, so yeah, you're going to shit.
Not very considerate.
No.
I've just seen someone stabbed to death.
I know.
Her stakes are quite high.
Especially being so young, just to throw all her life away for this one person that she's met maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't think I would be doing that. Romeo. His drink. I drink to thee.
And it's been really good to affirm my identity as someone who doesn't identify as either male or female. And so being a non-binary person in a role that would stereotypically be cast as a male it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good laugh with it, I think.
You have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo? Well, not he. Though his face be better than any man's. And his leg excels all men's. And for a hand and a foot and a body, though they're not to be talked upon, yet they are beyond compare.
Her only real happy moments is when she's with Romeo, which is actually not that much within the script. Maybe I think it's the party scene at the beginning when she meets him, the balcony scene where they're first alone.
My bounty is boundless as the sea, and my love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite.
And then her moment with him after.
You kissed by the book.
When the nurse gets him to come to her bedroom. So they're like the only 3 happy moments within the performance. And then the rest of them are quite miserable. She's not happy at the party, and she's not happy about her marriage situation.
Juliet, Thursday early will I rouse thee. Till then, adieu, and keep this holy kiss.
And her mum and her dad.
How now, chop logic. What is this? Proud, and I thank you not, and yet not proud. Mistress Minion, you. Thank me no thankings, nor proud me no prouds. But fettle your fine doings 'gainst Thursday next, to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, or I will drag thee on a hurdle hither. Out you, green sickness carrion, you, out you baggage, you tallow face, fie, what? Are you mad?
Mother, sweet, I beseech you on my knees, hear me with patience, but to speak a word.
I tell thee what. get thee to church on Thursday, or never after look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me. Oh, my fingers itch! We scarce thought us blessed that God had lent us but this only child. But now I see this one is one too much, and that we have a curse in having her.
And then the ending, of course, she wakes up and she's like, oh, this is going to be great.
A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
But then Romeo's gone. Oh, happy dagger. And so she's gone. So really, this is my sheath. She doesn't live that nice of a life. And it all sort of stems from meeting Romeo. That's where her downfall sort of comes from, because she's met this person. Russ there. And that's where all her problems have come from, because if she hadn't have met him and let me die, then she would have most likely gone along with her marriage with Paris.
And you all deserve to be very proud of that work. And it's 50% there. And I really thought about that. I was going to give you 60%. And I was going to give you 55%. But it's 50% there. We have half a show.
But I was just like, what? I kind of want to tell you what's up. So what do you want then? What do you want from us? In a sense, not like a harsh way. Just like, okay, so I focus on part 2. Can you just specifics and just direct us to maybe like, right, be more cold, be more savvy, just open your mouth, breathe.
I was thinking at the end, I did it slowly, but because she's not nervous, she's freaking out, so she does it slowly. But in my mind, she might also do it really quickly, because she's like, God, I'm going to change my mind. I've got to drink this before I change my mind.
I don't want you to know.
Okay. Do what feels right in the moment.
It's got to be.
Okay.
You can't have this knowing thing of going, I'm looking at a script, I'm looking at a monologue, I'm a really good actor, I know exactly how I'm going to play it. It's going to be delivered this way because I practiced with the mirror and it's great. You can't, because the second you do that, it loses the unknowing factor that we really need in this speech. But you know in yourself as well that you're probably confident in maybe 50%. Maybe some of you would say more, but what I'm seeing is 50% confidence and 50%, oh shit, this is scary, oh. So it's reiterating kind of what I've said before. Keep trusting your process. It's got you this far.
But my point is, I digress, my point is, it's going to be great, we're going to do it, and then once it's done, we're going to be very happy that we did it in the first place.
Yeah, it'll be a very nice
It's going to go so quickly,
It's next week, literally next week.
No.
You guys know yourselves now what went wrong, what didn't quite work, what was early, what was late, right? So just chat amongst yourselves. Make sure if there's things that you just need that little confidence boost to go, or can we just look at that line because I fumbled that bit, or bits that you've never fumbled before just came out a bit wonky this time. So just look at your script, keep supporting your performance. You don't have to just now throw your script away and go, oh God, this is terrifying. Keep using all those notes and all that work you've done. Keep using it. And Thursday is going to rock.
Because I haven't done any performing for quite a while, and it's quite nerve-wracking, and my confidence was quite low, but I feel that they've nurtured me and welcomed me, and I feel that now I'm sort of ready to do some more, just because of how they've made me feel, and how the crew and the cast and everything has sort of come together. It's been amazing to watch it, because for me it's not just about the performance, it's about being a part of something, and I've always loved being in rehearsal and watching people develop and grow, and a piece suddenly coming together from when you're just reading it to starting it moving, and then obviously the end piece. It's just an amazing experience.
Death has sucked the honey from thy breath, hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Thou art not conquered, and beauty is unsown, yet is crimson in thy lips and in thy cheeks. Death's pale flag is not advanced there. Tybalt, liest thou there in thy belly sheep? One more favour can I do thee?
These doors of breath seal with a righteous kiss, a dateless bargain. A dateless bargain to engrossing death. I think that now I've felt those things, it will be hard for me to say the same lines and go through the same scene without feeling or remembering how it felt that way, because it was just a lot to take in and a lot to take on and a lot to do. But once I'd done it, I've sort of felt, oh, right, that whole scene means more to me now, you know? It's like a big change in how you see things.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Getting a little excited now because it's very close to the start, so I think within a couple of hours and we'll be starting. So yeah, I've been pretty calm all day and everything, and I'm feeling excited. I don't really feel nervous. It's more of a let's get on with it sort of thing, you know.
I'm feeling really good. Actually, the sort of last full dress rehearsal we did was amazing, so I think tonight's going to go very, very well. I'm so excited. Opening night's always so much fun, and I think everyone's going to do so good, and I'm so happy.
My daughter's coming this evening.
Excited but also very nervous.
I'm going to kind of tell her a little bit about it, because obviously it's what we're doing really within the play is quite it's like giving awareness to also knife crime and things like that, so I want her to be aware of that.
I have to say, if ever I do something like this, I do wonder why I'm doing it. I really do. But then it's all worth it in the end, because you just all pull together and it's so nice.
Stomach, face.
Thank you. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
So you only get one. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, okay.
Right, they're not mine.
Better than Benvolio.
Plop, plop, plop.
Do you want me to comb Leo? And then it gets done.
Oh, yeah.
So, I can't do it.
What do you do with the what do you do with the
We don't need the other cast members. They can all suffocate.
Beautiful.
But it's like, it's good nervousness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so breathe in the play, breathe out the stress.
Showtime! Tiny person.
Cheers.
Ready? Pickety-peckety. Pickety-peckety-packety-pockety. Pickety-peckety-packety-pockety. Liggity-leggity-laggity loggity. Liggity-laggity-laggity loggity. Okay, so this is an articulation exercise, so we overemphasize everything. Yeah, we're warming our legs Pickety-peckety-packety-pockety. Pickety-peckety-packety-pockety. Liggity-leggity-laggity loggity. Liggity-leggity-laggity loggity. Tickety-tackety-tackety-tockety.
And now we're at that point where all the hard work's done, and now we're just playing, which is what it's all about. It's good, it's all good. Excited! That moment just when you step on stage and you make your first little bits of eye contact with people in the audience. Because I like looking at them, I like looking them dead in the eye.
This is your 15-minute call, so we're going to open the door in 4 minutes. Can I just wish everyone good luck? 2 things to say. Keep breathing, keep listening. Breathing, listening. And smash it. Good luck. Break legs.
Have a great show. Feel good and solid with each other, and the audience feels comfortable watching it. And like Nick said, if you read the review, you know, I felt mesmerised. I was taken to the different places, and a lot of people would say, "Romeo and Juliet, well, upstairs at Printers. How many's in it? 16. What? Yeah, mate.
Yeah, baby.
Come see it. Come see what we can do in this tiny little room when we have commitment and courage and dedication and focus and love for the arts and all of that. Run ensemble ladies. Let's carry on to us. We're going to do a prologue. Everybody else, go and get yourselves ready. Have a brilliant show. Love you all.
So we try to offer something different. We are malleable. We want to sort of roll with the punches. We want our community of artists to tell us what we should be doing next. We ask ourselves the question, is it a vital piece of theatre? Is it something that actually has to be put on? And if it is, then we do it. And it's not just about theatre. It's about everything within the art spectrum. Where we're also political without being partisan. We want to put on theatre that we believe in, that we think says something different to what is being said in the other theatres in Eastbourne. We're a studio space, so we're small and beautifully formed, and we want to offer everyone the opportunity to get up off their feet and do something that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg.
And it was really important to us that we made theatre accessible. We both trained as actors, so we both went to drama schools, we both got agents, we both started on that path of our artistry, and realised that an awful lot of theatre says it's accessible, but actually it's not. There are so many reasons why doors are closed. John's already mentioned one, that's the cost. Then there's the space. Also, it's being the right person in the right time with the right agent. There's all sorts of different barriers. And we really wanted to say, what happens if we take away all those barriers? And we say, do you know what, we're going to make theatre from scratch, and we're going to make it without any money, and we're going to challenge, but we do everything that good theatre does. And kind of on the flip side of that, the other really important thing to us was it was somewhere really safe, where people can discover more about themselves, be open with themselves, can trust us, can trust the process, and can have something that they're really proud of at the end of it.
That was absolutely stunning. It was really powerful, and I don't know, I'm continually amazed by Printers Playhouse and everything that they do.
No, but I thought in general every single person that was in it was committed, and really it was a really exciting production, I thought. I really enjoyed it, loved it.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was such a good show. Anyone should come and see it. It's like the way it was done, it was so good. All the actors were amazing for a community play. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I really loved it. Well done, everyone.
Yeah, it's a play that I've seen a lot of times, and I thought they brought new life to it. It was very exciting. I love the fact that it's all local people. I thought the two young guys who played Romeo and Juliet were just amazing, you know, for that age, just to understand it, never mind to actually play it. I thought they played it beautifully.
Well, actually, I mean, it was quite a nuanced performance, because actually what happened in the first half is there's a lot of action and a lot of humour, but it actually in the second half it becomes very, very dark and very moving, and it's also about a very topical subject, which is teenage suicide, which is something that people need to tackle and talk about.
I like the way that the stage is set, and I like that it's not very big
but it creates a very intimate sort of space.
It was. I thought it was excellent, actually. I mean, for a veritable fringe theatre, I mean, you know, it's lovely not to have to traipse to the great capital of London just to go and see something worthwhile.
I like how intimate and passionate these people are with their work. I can see that.
It's my first time to see a play like this. Yeah, but we do go to, watch a play in London, but this one is very intimate. That's what my daughter said, which is really interesting, and it's highly recommended, So hopefully, they will have more shows like this.
Gosh, I don't know where to start, really. It was just, it's so obvious they've worked so hard all together in such a short space of time and created this amazing performance. All the nuances of the attention to detail, the music.
I didn't quite expect to be so moved, but I was, even though I know it very well.
Well, to be honest with you, I went there with dodgy expectations. I'm not reading the Shakespeare, but after the first 5 minutes, I was sucked in and enthralled with everything that was happening. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and now I've been converted to a Shakespearean. Darling.
I'm absolutely shattered. A bit emotional. It's I think when you feel that the audience is getting what we wanted them to get, that's brilliant. And then when you look at the performances we're getting, it's joyous, which sounds like a really weird thing to say when it's so sad, but it's just brilliant. It's why we do it. It's why we do it.
Yeah, this is like the most I've been emotional over a closing night. Like, it's been, like, I don't know what to do with myself almost. It's really weird. Yeah, I just sort of feel a bit empty now, Like, I know before when we were talking, oh, how do you think you're going to feel when it's over? It wasn't this. Oh, I know. And I never cry. I'm not a big crier. Why are you doing it? Oh, God. Yeah. Shut the cameras.